Hello my lovely gamers, my name is Jonal and today we are taking a look at how to use swiftstrike on Genji and how to actually master it and use it properly. And this is something that is very important if you like to play Genji, if you want to play Genji, because using swiftstrike correctly is one of the things that severs the bad Genjis from the really good Genjis. Now before I start, I'm still collecting questions for my Q&A, so just drop those down in the comment on our Discord server in discussion or tweet them at me if you have Twitter. Now so let's just jump right into it. And yeah, there's normally, very roughly to break it down, 3 ways that we use our dash. We use it either to position ourselves where we want to stand, we use it to deal damage, or we use it to get a kill secure. Well, kill secure is a lot of time, what people think about when they think about dash, because Genji is the best hero to kill secure because of this. And have you ever heard comms from a semi-professional team or a professional team? If you ever heard comms from when I play with my team, a lot of time you hear when I play Genji that there is a specific call for when I can get the kill secure on a hero. So they'll say Genji, or they say Jonal, hero name low. That means kill it. And that does that I can get a kill secure. However, it's not just as easy as use swiftstrike directly on them. And normally you also combine these. So for example, you can dash through the enemy's end, right? So you kill secure him because he was under 50 HP, but you dash through him. So now you are positioned behind the enemy team, right? So you're positioned in the backline, something like that. And since you dealt 50 damage, you have built a few extra percentage that you actually needed to get to Dragon Blade. So now you can just Dragon Blade in the backline. Here you used all 3 of them: positioning, damage dealing to build ult, and kill securing. And you also got a dash reset because you got the kill secure. Or you can dash, for example, onto the high ground, kill secure the enemy soldier, and now you're positioned on the high ground. But first, let's just start on how to move. How to actually use the dash, since, if you can't really know how to position yourself and how to actually use the dash, then you can't, use the dash. So, if you want to use dash, you move 15 meters forward and you deal 50 damage. That's just a range that you have to get used to. You get used to those 15-meter range, and you can always go into custom game or into the practice range and then mark up 15 meters and then just dash, just to get used to the size of the target on a certain distance. Now, if you dash through a target that has 50 HP or less, doesn't really matter, because this is the best way to kill secure, and you will get a dash reset. So you can dash straight forward and then you can just turn around 180 degrees and then dash straight back at where you stood, right? So that is actually a proper way to do it. The problem comes when the target has more than 50 HP, right? Because you can often do a shuriken combo in front of the dash, as I talked about in my Genji damage combo guide, which is down in the description. So for example, you can right click and dash, and then you can get those extra damage in if it's a little bit over, and then it doesn't matter again if you dash through him. But what if they have much more HP than that? Because normally if your target has more HP, then you will have to get up close and personal, where you can use your melee, you can use shurikens, and it's really hard to get that perfect dash, right? Dashing in a straight line with 15-meter distance, so you exactly hit him and then you stop exactly where he's standing. That is the big problem that a lot of Genjis don't do properly. And I've seen a master Twitch streamer, I'm not gonna mention the name, he has quite some followers, he has a YouTube channel, all kind of stuff, who didn't understand this concept. So this is not something to be embarrassed about if you don't know it, but it's really simple and quite easy to get used to. So if you don't want to move 15 meters, if you don't want to stop, if you want to stop yourself maybe at 9 meters or 5 meters or whatever, so you just get close to the target but you don't get too far away from him when you use the dash, the normal way to do it is to create an angle. And I talked a lot about this. So you double jump, or you can wall climb, so you just get a height advantage over your opponent, and then you just aim at him and then you dash, right? Then you dash onto your target, and this will keep you close to him and not put yourself in a bad position. And you can think of it a little bit like chess, right? So you dash onto him and you do your damage combo with your shurikens and melee and you kill him, and now you're taking his spot. You can always dash back to your team, but normally, from this position on, you can start working on the enemy team. And just a note on that is that it is very smart, especially if you're not as comfortable with your game sense and your Genji and rotating and all that stuff, to dash in front of your enemy, or so that you can always see your enemy. Since if you dash onto him, but you get behind him, then you need to do a 180, but he went a little bit to the left, and you didn't quite see that, so, or he walked backwards, so he's now actually behind you when he rotated, so you had to rotate one more time, and it just get very confusing. So if you're not that comfortable with it, then try to dash, land in front of him, or land so that you can always see him. That way it's really hard for you to actually lose track of him. If you want to stop, you can also of course use the environment. Dashing into a wall or some kind of object can of course also stop you, but it's really hard to pull off consistently because the enemy that you want to focus has to be near an object, right? So that it can actually stop you. They can't be too far away from the object, and it also has to be an object that is not in a position so that you get fucked, right? So if it's in a corner inside a small house, and there is also a Symmetra in there, then it might not be the smartest thing to dash onto them just to get close, right? So therefore this is a little bit weird, but that's also, you know, another choice that you can do. So that's like the most important thing to understand with dash, right? Dashing onto a target to put you in a good position, or if they're lower than 50 HP, then you can just dash straight through them and get the kill secure. If you wanna know what to do when you've finally gotten close to your target, as I said, the damage combo for Genji down in the description. Now, and then the art of getting the fuck out is something that, again, a lot of Genjis don't do. And it's very, very important because or else you are overextending. Going in for a kill is good. Dashing onto a target just to deal damage or just to pressure that guy to move away is good. It's called choking. Staying behind the enemy line for 10 years, not so good. You'll probably die in the end. And if you die, well, then you can't really carry, can you? You can't be a pro Genji if you're dead, right? So, the art of getting the fuck out is essentially that you dash back to your team, you dash onto a high ground, and it's very, very normal. Either, you know, when you get a kill secure, so you dash 15 meters, you do a melee combo, you do a shuriken, you kill him, and then you just turn around and just dash straight back to your team. Or onto some high ground where the enemy team can't get to, so you can get out into safety. But also when you use Dragon Blade, you get 1, you get 2 kills, but when you pull Dragon Blade, a lot of time the enemy team will turn around and start shooting at you. So when you finally get that second kill, you might be at 40 HP. This is not the time for you to try to pull up a third kill. This is time for you to dash back to your team. You got 2 picks, you should be happy about that. Your Dragon Blade is now over, and now you can finally start thinking about, okay, I can heal up, now I can start working again with my team instead of dying because you're trying to go for that third kill, because a lot of the time it's not worth it. When it comes to dashing onto the high ground, this is something that's a little bit more tricky than it actually sounds. Because how dash works is, if you aim at the high ground, as long as you're not out of range, you get to the high ground. But you might get inefficiently to the high ground. So, for example, as you can see on the screen, you can be smart and do a small jump and then dash if you're close to the high ground, as you can see on the screen, right? If you're far away from the high ground, right, you are in the 15-meter range, then you can just aim at, you know, the edge or whatever, and then you dash, and then you will get onto the high ground quite nicely. But if you're too close, then the angle that you want to dash in is too steep. Meaning that when you actually dash, you'll get onto the edge, or in stress, you'll actually miss and hit the wall and do a wall climb, which takes more time than doing that if you try to get out with like 20 HP. That extra second is, you know, when the tracer does the last few shots and kill you. And if you dash too far up, if you like aim, okay, I'll just aim far over the high ground, then you get a little bit of airtime where the enemy team can shoot you. And if you try to dash in a steep angle up to the high ground, for example with a Dragon Blade to kill a soldier, then this will give him time to react. You won't get as fast to the high ground as you would want to. Therefore, it can be smart to do a small double jump, as you can see here. In close range, you can double jump, and then you will get a much more cleaner and faster approach onto the high ground. You can also dash in an angle, so instead of dashing straight up, you can dash into a, you know, a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, to also create, you know, actually lower the steepness of the angle, because there's a longer travel time. So actually, you're close to the high ground, but because you dash far to the right or far to the left, you are far away from where you want to dash. And that's just a tip to actually get to the high ground a little bit faster. It's a little bit more of a, you know, I would say advanced tips, or a little bit like a tips. So if you're not comfortable with, you know, dashing onto the target and stuff like that, knowing when to kill the secure and all that, focus on that instead. But then you can rather start focusing more on these more perfect dashes onto the high ground and so I hope you guys enjoy. I hope this helped a lot of you. And of course, like, I'm not covering every dash technique and every way of doing literally everything, because then again, if I want to do that, then these were gonna last for about 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. So I hope this is a good overview. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to prove here, and I hope this helps you guys understand a little bit more of how and why we dash as we do as Genjis. If you like, then press like. If you dislike, then dislike. If you're new to the channel and want to support it, press subscribe. It really helps, and the videos will keep popping up. Now that I'm finally home for some vacation, there's nothing that I have to do before like far out into the next month. So, I mean this month, sorry. So we can finally start getting some good video content out here. So drop down what you want to see and drop down your question for the Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Jonal, and as always, keep the enemy in your crosshair.